New Path of Exile 2 update Return of the Ancients is the biggest one GGG ever released. They even get enough time to release 20 teasers showcasing this update. Still, among all these patch notes, I can't see a single line showcasing that they fixed bug I always ask them to fix. Well, if GGG don't have time to fix their game, I got enough time to break their game again.
Let's do this.
And we will break game as Monk.
Ah, shit. Had it go again.
I woke up at the river and went straight for my quarter staff. If you don't know, it's ancient martial weapon used by Shaolin monks, but here we just call it stick. Yeah, it's just basic piece of wood that does not even kill zombie in one hit. That's why monk is considered one of the weakest classes in early game. Bottom spot, anti-break RPG games. So don't worry, as monk we getting first skill Falling Thunder. Probably the worst skill you can get at the first level. It's super slow, it's super weak and basically useless. Still, I got lucky and after defeating a bunch of crabs, at least I got armor. It will definitely make my life easier against the first boss, but still, after reaching half of his life, he summons bunch of zombies. And we are melee class without any area of effect damage. We outnumbered and fight already looking impossible, but in every boss arena there is invisible barrier that makes impossible running away from the boss. So after he summoned next pack of zombies, I decided it's time to run. And for some reason GGG forgot to add barrier in the first zone, so we ran away. I showcased Miller this awesome tree, then me and my new friend went fishing for a little bit, and went straight to the beginning of the zone. Yeah, this fight is a lot easier when you're fighting outside without any other allies of him. Yeah, I broke the game a little bit, but you want to see how we can one-shot bosses in Act 1. Get away, stupid zombies, I need to show them my broken strategies.
Pay attention, you just may learn something here.
After getting to Clearfell encampment and getting my first uncut skill gem from Renly, I crafted Killing Palm, which is considered one of the most useless skills in the game, by those who don't know how to scale damage. Okay, skill is really attacks pretty slowly and doing almost no damage, but whenever we kill targets with it, we're getting this blue rotating spheres around us. Now, whenever I use Falling Thunder, it looks like this. Brutal screen clearing explosion of lightning. Oh, it's so satisfying, but even though Falling Thunder deals more damage for each circle around us, it still takes too long to get at least one power charge. So I decided to craft Frost Bomb to apply exposure to my targets and deal more elemental damage. Killed bunch of wolves, got power charges and found boss. I think it's time. And boom! Okay. In a few seconds she summoned bunch of wolves, so I decided to get bunch of power charges on them and unleash one more devastating attack.
And now I'm dead. Something happened.
Something definitely not right. I promised you to break the game and we can't kill the first boss, but I'm Spot and we will find solution. By the way, I found that this arena also does not have any obstacles, but this first lady just does not want to leave her circle. So I ran around, I killed some wolves, got some power charges and tried to fight her from a distance. Path of Exile 2 is truly magnificent game, because instead of fighting first boss, I went for the second one. He is standing still warm and he summoned bunch of maggots all the time, so I can use Healing Palm, get some power charges and then boom, deal some damage, if you can call it damage. But most importantly, this worm is our first puzzle piece to become a one-shot machine, since majority of players after trying Killing Palm for the first time do this. But I beat the worm and get my uncut skill gem level 2, upgrading Killing Palm for more damage, upgrading quarter staff with currency that I have, getting some added damage, which is perfect, and getting support gem from Renly. Now I can craft augments for my skills, and we will go for Thrill of the Kill on Killing Palm. Let's read it together. Cooling shocked enemy with supported skill infuses all your attacks with lightning damage for a short time, and we will gain 25% of damage as lightning. That's pretty big buff. Once again, cooling a shocked enemy. That means that's enemy. I hit him once and he's in calling range, indicated by this blue fire. As far as I can see, he is definitely not shocked, because I don't have any lightning damage. So why the heck I am getting this buff whenever I kill him and getting insane amount of extra damage, starting to one-shot all enemies on the screen, flickering strike at level 1, raising our DPS by 20% at this point, from one of the strongest buffs in the game. And while buff is still alive, I tried to hit her once again. She survived and I decided to let her live, cowardly flickering my way out of the clear fell to fight one of the most annoying monsters in Grelwood. Fight is easy by the way because I can Falling Thunder, then run away, do few Calling Strikes and then Falling Thunder again to get one more support gem that I will use to craft Rage on Killing Palm. That will be just generated by using this skill and is showcased by this line over here. And now fully loaded, we are ready to unleash. Okay, I probably speeding up things a little bit. That's the items by the way if you're curious. But now let's talk about Flicker Strike that GGG decided to hide behind level 14. Everyone is mad because they want to play Flicker Strike from Act 1, but I'm Spot and I can create Flicker Strike in the first act.
Interesting if true.
Of course it's not a real Flicker Strike, but it's even better. So let's check our next skill, Staggering Palm. And it got Staggering Palm part and Projectile part. Basically after stunning enemy I get a buff that gives me projectile attacks, and we strike enemies with melee attack, right?
Wrong.
Let's take a look at my favorite skill, Siphoning Strike. It's clearly a melee attack, it's a strike, and it even got strike in its name. So based on what I'm seeing on the screen right now, it should build combo, because combo is built by successfully striking an enemy with melee attack. So Siphoning Strike should definitely generate combo, right?
Wrong.
Yep, that's the game logic. And you know what? Take a look at this support gem Retreat. It will make skill deal no melee damage, but projectiles will deal more damage if we damaged enemy with melee hit. This means Staggering Palm won't be able to deal melee damage and therefore won't be able to stun and won't be able to generate projectile buff for us, right? Okay, I can't use same meme for 3 times in a row. Projectile damage right now got 64 DPS. This skill clearly deals damage. And after I get my projectile buff, guess what will happen? Yes, it increases our DPS. This means Staggering Palm got some weird spaghetti coded damage and it's definitely not melee. But it builds up combo unlike Siphoning Strike, so I guess one evil Jonathan Rogers sitting and laughing at me somewhere, waiting for me to break his game once again. And yeah, we will do it. Because as you can see right now, I can use my Staggering Palm to get 30 seconds of projectile buffs that will deal a lot more damage with a Retreat support gem while I'm using Killing Palm and getting buffs that I probably not supposed to get, keeping them on and flickering like a crazy maniac in Act 1. I broke the game so hard that my buttons even overlap, but I got one extra idea how we can increase our power even more. Because this buff gives me lightning damage, I shock enemies, and now when I drop Innervate support gem I can get 2 buffs at the same time, which gives me 50% extra damage, pulling my damage with projectiles on top and getting 200 DPS on Killing Palm while there's 300 with projectile. And with Rage we're already hitting for 500 DPS for one single Killing Palm. By keeping these buffs all the time we can one-shot all the enemies in Act 1 and it's just a breeze, but let's make it even more broken, because my next idea was pretty simple but very effective. Imagine, I'm getting around 300% more damage right now than I should, and one-shotting bosses. To do it against some of them, I actually need to invite a bunch of skeletons onto the party, because generating power charges in boss arenas otherwise is not possible for us, and we needed to one-shot them. But it's easy to fix by keeping Talisman in our offhand. Now I can use Wing Blast to stun boss and generate 3 power charges, but most importantly, then I can use Rend that will give me 50% of extra damage. As lightning. Imagine this buff when I'm using my Staggering Palm. Let's try it. So, do you miss something? I definitely don't see my projectiles. Where is my projectiles? Come on. You see, the buff is on, we should have projectiles, I'm using Staggering Palm and I'm refreshing the buff, but there is no projectiles. Yeah, evil Jonathan Rogers strikes again. I broke every single skill in Act 1 and now my awesome build just got destroyed by some spaghetti coding. No offense to GGG, I like these devs, they're goats, but we need to break the build again and now we need to make a choice. And my choice was simple, because in reality GGG silently nerfed my build. With a quick hotfix, they removed ability to flicker from one enemy to another. Instead I need to use low-level Frozen Locust to lower enemies a little bit, and then I can flicker like before, but that's not the style we want. And you guessed it right, I decided to switch back into basic Ice Strike and Bells. It's a reliable way to generate some damage, especially with Wind Blast, and then just melt boss by holding one button and dropping bells every now and then. I defeated Count Janur in the same fashion, and then I realized evil Jonathan Rogers not only nerfed my build to the ground while I was playing, but at the same time he decided that patch notes are non-existent, because my secondary plan, throwing loads of bells, also failed. Look, first of all, bell doing 0 damage. I really mean it, actually 0 damage. Look at his life pool, he is not depleting. Killing Palm is still playable, and yes, you can just generate charges and unleash with Falling Thunder in Act 2. And there is tons of blacksmith whetstones from the new mechanic, and we can get insanely cool weapon, but I decided to go for Hollow Palm technique. Let me explain. Bells supposed to have 3 charges, and I thought we can get these 3 charges instantly. Technically it's not a charges, but limit, so we will be able to put 3 bells at the same time. But turns out you can do it only later in the game. Right now it's just gatekept from us. I went all in on quarterstaff because we got so many resources, and I realized that this lightning quarterstaff is just goated in Act 2. But later I want some super stylish ninja hollow palm technique build. Turns out we can get insanely good tools for it by completing leak mechanic, these big stones. But more on that later, because we need to find out another style instead of our Ice Strike. Being melee right now is actually pretty bad. I realized it after checking monster density. Yeah, meaningful combat. At its finest. There's so many monsters and so many effects that you just can't use your abilities in any meaningful fashion. Therefore I switched to combination of 2 skills, Storm Wave and Siphoning Strike. Storm Wave used to attack enemies from the range and inflict shock condition. Then I'm using Siphoning Strike to extract shock with boom effect. But as you can see, there's slightly more boom than it normally should have. That's only thanks for concussive runes, a new support gem from Kalguran guys. Basically, whenever I heavy stun enemies, it creates big explosion, and that's extra area of effect. And Siphoning Strike stuns enemies all the time. And you probably have a question, should you switch from Killing Palm to this style? Answer is simple. Definitely not. There's ascendancy point on martial artist that gives you these shadow bells, and you can easily use Killing Palm to generate charges like this. And in boss areas you just run around, kill these bells, and then you will be able to generate enough charges to just melt bosses with Falling Thunder. And that's just broken. But I'm smart and I decided to make stuff even more broken right from the middle of Act 2. Basically, I went to the market exchange and instantly snatched these gloves for just 4 exalted orbs, and then respect my points into Way of the Stone Fist. But why? Is these gloves actually good? That's the question everyone asks, because no one knows how they work. I mean, no one beside my viewers and me, because they saw how I tested all 87 gloves with this ascendancy point, and I found the most broken ones. You can also check this video in the description, but these gloves are just awesome. Instead of splitting damage, they will start giving us extra physical damage on top, and physical damage will contribute to ignite, freeze and shock. And of course I released video after buying these gloves, so they started to cost around 1 divine after I bought few of them, and boom, we are rich even before getting to the maps. Anyway, as you can see, I decided to stick with this style. I think it's super interesting and active, and it's cool looking. But we can make it even more cool looking when we get to the Act 3. Because that's where I stopped getting lucky loot drops. And I started to drop pretty awful quarterstaffs that never gave me, like, at least somewhat reliable damage boost. Actually, in Act 3, in the beginning, you can find nice slicing quarterstaff, and that's where you can completely melt it and also melt half of Act 4. But it was not a lucky day for me, and that's when we go for Hollow Palm technique. Jumping like a crazy ninja left and right, and honestly it looks already cool and it's enjoyable to play, but it can be a little bit more cooler. I got bunch of nodes over here that give me a lot of extra elemental damage whenever I chill, ignite and shock enemies. And then I will get this node to increase my damage even more. And you know what's missing? Yeah, you guessed it right. 2 awesome lightning blades in our hands. Yeah, dual wielding crazy daggers. Daggers in the game already if you're playing Hollow Palm Monk with charged quarterstaff, of course. And after getting my second ascendancy points, I got runic markings, basically ability to get runes on your body. It's almost plus 90 total resistances after you drop all the runes. And overall the style feels really tanky, fun, dynamic and cool, but my disappointment was immeasurable, because GGG nerfed my build before everyone could actually enjoy how fun it was to play it, so I need to create something even more broken. And then I realized, you know, if they watching my videos and nerfing my builds, then probably, just probably, maybe they actually listening to me sometime and fixing stuff that I ask? Yes, look, Siphoning Strike actually can generate charges for Mantra of Destruction. They fixed it at the same time when they nerfed my initial plan. So I can hit boss few times, charge my knives, hit him few more times, then use Mantra of Destruction, and with extra chaos damage on top, and with extra fire damage on top, unleash devastating attack. And why I'm so hyping about Mantra of Destruction? Look, whenever I activate it and then use crazy and powerful ability and kill few enemies, I get buff for like half a minute. This gives ability to get a lot of damage while clearing, so campaign feeling smooth and fun. But at the same time, I found a lot of funny Kalguran runes that can accompany this skill, especially the ones that I will not name for one single reason. Turns out GGG not only watching my videos but also watching my stream, because I showcased how broken the combination of Mantra of Destruction with Orlot Convictions that I was able to get somewhere in Act 3, and near Act 4 they kicked me out of the game, and then when I logged in back, this skill is already level 65. GG. Perfectly balanced game. Yeah. Overall, this league is cool. I already beaten campaign with this monk, the planner in pinned comment, so if you want to follow along, you can do it. But we will make something completely broken tomorrow. You know what? I'm just mad how GGG nerfs everything we do. So we will make one button screen clearing boss melting machine. Get ready and subscribe.